Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 18th of May 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affair. So watch this video till last, and I am requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. We need your strong support. Guys, before proceeding, I just want to discuss about our application name is Careers Cloud, and you can download this application from the description box link. After downloading, you have to click on this login with Google, so that you can log in with your email ID, and you have to click on crack current affairs after that, and you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 year. It means for the 12 months as well as for 24 months. Both the subscription prices are very much low, and guys, I am telling you 90 to 95% current affair which are coming in your exams are covered by Affairs Cloud. This is the genuinity of Affairs Cloud. This is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. And guys, what we are providing under this subscription, we are providing daily current affair. In the daily current affair section, we are providing three type of the sections. One is related to detailed current affair of particular day, question and answer format of current affair of particular day, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. In the weekly section, we are providing three type of the sections. One is related to detailed current affair of particular week, second is the question and answer format of current affair of particular week, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Next is monthly section. This is the most important section to enhance your performance, because we are providing four type of PDFs. Like first is the study PDF. It means all the theoretical and detailed current affair will be provided under this PDF. Next is question and answer PDF. It means to revise all the theoretical and detailed current affair in the form of question and answer. We are providing question and answer PDF, and you can revise again and again. Next is the best 100 current affair. It means top 100 current affairs, also provided in the form of question and answer, so that you can revise before your exam. Next is pocket PDF. As the name suggests, it is very important to revise current affairs before your exam in quick format. So we are providing 2-liner, 3-liner current affairs, and you can revise before your exam. So guys, this is daily, weekly and the monthly section, but to enhance your performance, we are also providing some smart PDFs which are known as topic wise PDF. We are covering 20 most important topics which are important for every type of exam. Like you can say application and web portals, important days, books and author. If you just want to revise one particular topic that you believe that is weak, and you can revise this section again and again before your exam. Next is banking awareness section, especially for the banking aspirants. Like we are providing three type of the sections. First is the detailed current affair of banking and economy, question and answer format of current affairs only related to banking and economy, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application. It is specially for the banking aspirants. Next is exam PDF. If you just want to revise all the past current affair of 2021, like 4 months current affair of 2021 from just single PDF, then you have to pick this exam PDF. You can revise all the 2021 past current affair from this PDF. Next is special current affair, and it comprises budget and economic survey. It means we are providing detailed and factual data of budget and economic survey, and also providing expected question and answer which examiner can ask related to budget and economic survey. We are also covering the state current affair, so that your state performance can be enhanced, and we are covering every state and union territory. So your state current affairs will be provided under this subscription. It means there is no different subscription. We are providing all these things under one subscription. So you have to just download our application, that is Careers Cloud, from the description box link. You have to log in with your email ID, and you have to click on this crack current affair section. After clicking on this, you can subscribe for 1 year as well as 2 year. And first of all, check the price. You will definitely surprise, and on that minimal price we are providing 10% extra discount. If you use this code ASH10 ASH10, then you will get 10% extra discount. And guys, remember, if you have any query, then you can reach us on this email ID. You can also call on this number, and you can also put your query in any comment box. I am personally entertaining all the comments, and personally resolving all the queries. So you can also comment in any video. So guys, let's start today's current affair, that is 18th of May 2021. But I am again requesting you all the students that we have a target, and the target is 700 plus likes. You have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel, and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. So let's start today's session with the most important question section, and here is our first question. Who won the men's single title of 2021 Italian Open? And it is the 78th edition of Italian Open. So two things you have to remember. Italian Open, basically also known as Rome Masters. Remember, examiner can ask and confuse you with the name Rome Master. Italian Open or the Rome Master is the same thing. And guys, in 2020, this tournament was won by, like Italian Open 2020 was won by Novak Djokovic. But in 2021, this was won by Rafael Nadal. So answer of this question is A. Rafael Nadal is the answer. And this match was very interesting because he defeated number one player in the men's tennis category. This is Novak Djokovic. It means Rafael Nadal defeated Novak Djokovic in the Italian Open 2021. That is a huge news, and both are the best players because Novak Djokovic in the men's category ranked on the first, and Novak Djokovic belongs to which country? He belongs to Serbia, and Rafael Nadal belongs to Spain, and he's on the third spot. So you have to remember who won the Italian Open 2021. Rafael Nadal. 2020 was won by Novak Djokovic, and Novak Djokovic also won Australian Open 2021. Guys, remember this Australian Open 2021, which was held in February 2021. Now we can move to the next, and this is who won the women's single titles of 2021 in Italian Open. So we are again talking about the 2020 tournament, and in 2020 this was won by Simona Halep. So guys, remember in 2020 this tournament was won by Simona Halep, and she belongs to which country? She belongs to Romania. So Simona Halep, 2021 Italian Open, you have to remember. And in 2021 this tournament was won by Iga Swiatek. So answer of this question is D. Very simple. So you have to remember Iga Swiatek belongs to which country? She belongs to Poland. So I'm repeating myself all these things, like Rafael Nadal won the 2021 Italian Open title, and Iga Swiatek won the women title of Italian Open 2021. So both are very, very important players. And guys, you can also remember that who won the Italian Open 2021. Both players won French Open 2020. Because in the women category of French Open 2020 won by the Iga Swiatek, and French Open 2020 was also won by Rafael Nadal. So you can correlate so that you can remember for longer time period. And guys, these tournaments are basically association of Women Tennis Association, which these tournaments are associated by these organizations. One is WTA, second is ATP. ATP stands for Association of Tennis Professionals, headquartered in United Kingdom, or you can say in London, and Women Tennis Association headquarters is in United States of America. So these tournaments are basically associated by these two organizations. And remember, it is Nadal's 10th Italian Open title. And it is a clay court tournament. So you have to just remember these two lines so that you can remember the news for longer time period. So moving to next question, and it is the most important question, and 100% this question will come 100%. Who was crowned with Miss Universe 2020? So guys, remember we are talking about 2020, not 2021, because Miss Universe event in 2020 was cancelled due to COVID-19. So now it happened in 2021, but the title is Miss Universe 2020. And answer of this question is from Mexico. It means she belongs to Mexico, and she is very famous model of Mexico. Answer is Andrea Meza. So you have to remember this answer. You have to write this answer. You have to read this answer. You have to remind this answer. Andrea Meza, because this question will come 100%. And guys, Miss Universe 2019 was, remember this, I am writing here, Zozibini Tunzi. So you have to remember the name. My pronunciation can be wrong, but you have to remember the spelling. That's why I spell this. Zozibini Tunzi, and she belongs to South Africa, a public relations professional, and she was the first black woman from South Africa to win the contest when she was crowned Miss Universe in 2019, and she held the title since December 2019 because 2020 event was cancelled due to COVID-19. And guys, remember who was runner-up? Runner-up was Julia Gama. She was runner-up, and she belongs to which country? She belongs to Brazil. So you have to remember one Indian who also represented in the Miss Universe category, because there are so many Indians, but third runner-up was Indian. And the name is Adeline Castellino. So you can see here, Miss Mexico Andrea Mesa wins Miss Universe pageant 2020. And you can also see here Mexican model Andrea Mesa was crowned as the Miss Universe, and who was the runner-up? You have to remember Zulia Gama Brazil. But the Indian examiner can ask, so you have to remember Adeline Castellino. Name is not seem to be Indian, but you have to remember Adeline Castellino. She represented India, and she is the third runner-up. And guys, remember about Andrea Meza. She is a software engineer. This can be asked. So this is important. And she became the third Mexican woman to be crowned as the Miss Universe. And Miss Universe 2020 was the 69th Miss Universe event. So three things under this question are very important. I am again writing the most important points. Who was crowned as Miss Universe 2020? Who was the 2019? And who was the runner-up, first runner-up, and who represented India, and Indian side was the third runner-up. So these three things are very, very important under this question. And guys, remember this Miss Universe title was given by the Miss Universe organization. It is an annual international beauty event run by the Miss Universal organization, currently owned by the one of the talent agency, and it was established in 1952. Its headquarters is in the United States of America. Now we can move to the next question. Who won International Invincible Gold Medal 2021? So the most important thing under this question is this award, International Invincible Gold Medal 2021. So answer is very simple. He is currently our education minister, and answer is Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji. So answer is B. So guys, remember Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank was awarded International Invincible Gold Medal 2021, and this award was basically awarded by one organization that is known as Maharishi organization. Maharishi or Maharishi organization, and he has been recognized for his extraordinary commitment and outstanding services to humanity through his writings, because he is basically very famous author to so many books and social and illustrated public life. So you can see here education minister and the smiling face of Ramesh Pokhriyalji Nishank received International Invincible Gold Medal. And you can also see here he has been recognized for his extraordinary commitment and outstanding service to humanity through his writing, social and illustrious public life. And guys, you can also remember that due to his writings, he also won Sahitya Gaurav Samman of 2021. Remember, this is again most important question. Sahitya Gaurav Samman of 2021. He won this award in January 2021. So remember this. And he has also helped in the propagating ancient Vedic values, wisdom and traditional knowledge in the most scientific manner. And he was very famous writer. And he is also currently member of Lok Sabha, and his constituency is Haridwar. So you have to remember the name of the constituency of Ramesh Pokhriyalji, Haridwar, Uttarakhand. He introduced the most innovative, creative, scientific and inclusive new education policy crafted by the Indian government. And he has given his continuous support and commitment to the world peace programs. So guys, you have to just remember the name, and the name of the award is International Invincible Gold Medal. And remember Sahitya Gaurav Samman 2021, and answer of both the question is Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji. Now we can move to next question, but you can also remember other options, guys. The first option you are seeing here, VK Yadav. He was the, you can say, the former CEO of Railway Board, and VK Yadav was awarded as Eminent Engineer Award of 2020. Eminent Engineer Award of 2020. Next, you can see here the very famous filmmaker, that is Guneet Monga. She won Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters, the second highest civilian French honor. Remember, French honor. Next is Koneru Humphrey, again very famous chess player. Remember Koneru Humphrey, she won BBC India Sportswoman of the Year award. BBC Indian Sportswoman of the Year award, Koneru Humphrey. So remember these awards. Now we can move to the next question. Which city ranked first among the urban cities of India with adequate health infrastructure according to the Housing.com report? So first of all, you have to remember this report is published by Housing.com. And guys, they ranked 8 cities. They ranked only 8 cities, and out of these 8 cities, which city is the healthiest city? It means you can say the urban city which has adequate health infrastructure. It means this city can be known as the healthiest city of the country. And this city is Pune according to Housing.com. And Pune is in which state? Pune is in Maharashtra. So guys, remember, and you can also remember the second rank goes to Ahmedabad and third rank goes to Bengaluru. What is the rank of Delhi? Delhi rank is 8th. It means not adequate infrastructure of health is Delhi. So remember 8th rank goes to Delhi. So now you can see here State of Indian Healthcare, Indian Cities through the Lens of Healthcare 2021. This is actually the name of the report released by housing.com, but you don't have to remember the name of the report. Pune, Maharashtra is the healthiest city among the top 8 urban cities of India. So Pune rank is on the first, or in simple word you can say it is the healthiest city. And top 3 cities, it means first rank is Pune, second rank is Ahmedabad, third rank is Bengaluru. And the report also states that India has the lowest number of doctor, and this report states that 0.86 doctor per thousand. It means not even one doctor per thousand, but according to the developed economies, we need almost 2 to 4 doctors per thousand. If we are talking about the developed economies, 2 to 4 doctors per thousand, but India has 0.86 doctor per thousand. So this is a very big loss, or you can say the big vacancies which can be filled through the you can say the medical students. So this can be solved by the recruitment issue. And the other cities like Mumbai are there, Hyderabad is there, Telangana is there, Chennai is there, Tamil Nadu is there, you can say Calcutta is there, because total they ranked eight cities. And guys, remember these 8 cities are ranked according to the parameters like number of hospital beds, ease of living, water quality, and the local body performance. So you have to just remember the news, and this is very important because it is created by the housing.com. That's why we are covering this question in the most important section. So now we are moving to the very important question section. We discussed the 4 questions in the most important section, but you have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel, and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. So here is the first question in the very important section. Which small finance bank launched a feature, I choose my number? It means you can choose your favorite number as your account number. This is an initiative of which small finance bank? Answer of this question is very simple, Jana Small Finance Bank. And guys, you can also see here, in order to make banking to be simple and personalized, Jana Small Finance Bank came to be with a feature called I choose my number. As the name, you can just guess that what that means, and that allows its customer to choose their favorite number as their saving or the current account. And the bank customers can choose their favorite number as the last 10 digits of their bank account, either saving or the current, subject to the availability of the requested number. And remember, it will be the last 10 digits of their bank account. And as per the bank, the added feature is intended to relate the customer closer to the bank as they choose their auspicious or the lucky numbers very easily. It means you can choose any auspicious or the lucky number if you have, then and you belongs to Jana Small Finance Bank, then you can definitely choose your personalized number. And guys, remember about Jana Small Finance Bank, because recently Jana Small Finance Bank, like we covered this news in April 2021, Jana Small Finance Bank ties up with the Axis Securities. Axis Securities to provide 3-in-1 bank account to the customers. 3-in-1 stands for the saving account, demat account, and the trading account. This is Jana Small Finance Bank plus the Axis Securities. And guys, remember what Jana Small Finance Bank? Jana Small Finance Bank was established in 2008, and its headquarters is in Karnataka, or you can say Bengaluru, and its MD and CEO is Ajay Kanwal. Ajay Kanwal is currently MD and CEO of Jana Small Finance Bank. Now we can move to next question. 2021 Men's World Boxing Championship to be held in which country? We covered this question so many times. That's why we are not covering in the most important section. Otherwise, this question is most important. And guys, remember which country is hosting? Which country is hosting 2021 Men's World Boxing Championship? And this country is Serbia. Serbia. Earlier in 2019, this tournament was hosted by Russia. Now in 2021, it will be hosted by Serbia. So guys, remember, it is a biennial tournament. It means it happens after 2 years. So that's why in 2019 it was hosted, or you can say held in Russia, and in 2021 it will be held in Serbia. And guys, you can also remember that in 2023, because we covered this question in the most important section, in 2023 it will be hosted by Uzbekistan, or exact place is Tashkent. That is the capital of Uzbekistan. And in the women's category, because in the women's category 2021 World Boxing Championship will also happen, and this will happen in Poland. So in 2021 women Women World Boxing Championship will be hosted by Poland. So guys, you have to remember these things because these are very, very important. In 2021, women hosted by Poland, that is the boxing championship, and 2021 men's by Serbia, 2023 men by Uzbekistan, and men in 2019 by Russia. But 2019 is not so much important. You have to remember these tournaments. So it is World Boxing Championship. And friends, remember one thing, that earlier in 2020, it was decided that India will host this 2021 Boxing Championship of men's. But remember, due to non-payment of the fees, or you can say termination was due to the Boxing Federation of India is not able to pay the host fees of $4 million. So that's why the hosting right of India was cancelled and it goes to the Serbia. So after that, India have to pay cancellation fees of just $500. But earlier this tournament was hosted by India. So you can just remember, so that you can remember the news for longer time period. And guys, remember, International Boxing Association headquarters is in Lausanne, Switzerland, and who is the president of this? President is Umar Kremlev. So you have to remember the name of the president of International Boxing Federation. Headquarters is in Lausanne, Switzerland. So guys, these are the important things you have to remember. Now we can move to the next question. What is the theme of United Nations Global Road Safety Week of 2021? Under this question, first of all, you have to remember when this Global Safety Week 2021 was observed. So this was observed between 17th of May to 23rd of May 2021. So between 17th and 23rd May 2021, this marks the 6th United Nations Global Road Safety Week. And remember, this is a biennial global road safety campaign which is hosted by World Health Organization. Remember, this is hosted by World Health Organization. So why this week is organized? This day or this week aims to create awareness of road safety and make changes that will reduce the number of road deaths. And guys, remember, the theme of United Nations Global Road Safety Week of 2021 is Streets for Life, #Love30. So what is the meaning of this Love 30? It calls for 30 km/h default speed limits where people and vehicles mix. So that's why it is known as #Love30. So it means 30 km/h. So this time it is the 6th United Nations Global Road Safety Week, 17th to 23rd of May 2021, Streets for Life, #Love30. And first time this week was observed in 2007. So it is a biennial event. It means it happens after every 2 years. And United Nations General Assembly has mandated the World Health Organization and the United Nations Regional Commission to host the biennial United Nations Global Road Safety Week. So this is important, especially for the road safety. And guys, remember, as part of the United Nations Global Road Safety Week 2021, the Decade of Action for Road Safety 2021 to 30 and its global plan will be launched. It means this 2020 to 30, these 10 years will be known as the Decade for Action for the Road Safety. So we are now focusing on the self-driving cars, we are focusing on the electric cars. So now with the changing scenario, we have to focus on the road safety also. And guys, you can also see here one option that is known as Sadak Suraksha or Road Safety. This was the theme of National Road Safety Week. Remember, this was the theme of National Road Safety Week, and it was celebrated, or you can say observed, between the 4th of February to 10th of February 2019. And this was also the theme of National Safety Day. This was the theme of National Safety Day, which was celebrated on the 4th of March 2021. So you have to remember this. So this is again very important. And first option you are seeing here, the theme was First Responders. First Responder was the theme of World Day of Remembrance of Road Traffic Victims. And it was celebrated on 15th of November 2020, although this day was not so much important, so that's why we not covered this question in the November news, but you can also remember this. So most important is Street for Life and this Sadak Suraksha or road safety. Now we can move to the next question. A book titled Sikkim, A History of Intrigue and Alliance, authored by whom? So it is basically a history of Sikkim, when Sikkim formed and what was the consequences of Sikkim at that time. So this is all related to the history of Sikkim, and this book is written by Preet Mohan Singh. So answer of this question is D, and you can see here the cover page, the book Sikkim, A History of Intrigue and Alliance by Preet Mohan Singh Malik. That is the full name, Preet Mohan Singh Malik. So guys, this book will be released on 16th of May because 16th of May is known as the Sikkim Day, which is being celebrated on the 16th of May. And what is the objective of this book? The book objective is to clarify the strategic issues behind India's decision to accept Sikkim demand to be merged with India. It was the Sikkim demand to be merged with India. And the book focuses on the history of Sikkim along with the story of how it merged with India in 1975. And guys, remember, Sikkim was the 22nd state of India. 22nd state of India, which was merged in 1975, and it is in the northeastern state of India, which borders the Tibet Autonomous Region of China in the north and the northeast, Bhutan in the east, Nepal in the west, and West Bengal in the south. So it basically borders with the, you can say, China, Tibet, that is the autonomous region of the China, Bhutan is there, Nepal is there, and West Bengal is there. So you have to remember this Sikkim, and it examines the relation between its original inhabitants, because there are two very famous original inhabitants, which are basically people of the Tibetan origin, known as the Lepchas and the Bhutias. So I am writing here so that you can remember. There are two very famous tribals, or you can say basically cultural people, which are known as the Lepchas and Bhutias. So these are very famous. And around the 1967 military exchange between India and China was there at the Sikkim border, and the military standoff in 2017 between India and China in the Doklam Plateau were also discussed under this book, because there was border between India and China here, because two passes are very famous. One is the Nathula, second is the Jelepla. La stands for pass between the two mountains or the two countries. And there are two passes, Nathula and Jelepla were the two passes on the Sikkim border, serving as the entreport to the Tibetan Plateau. So guys, you have to remember it is the 22nd state of India, and you can also remember there is very famous boundary between India and China, and there is known as the Sikkim border, that is known as Chumbi Valley. Chumbi, Chumbi, Chumbi Valley, which is also known as the Sikkim border between India and China. So it is the valley in the Himalayan of the Tibet, and the narrow valley projecting towards the tri-junction between Sikkim, Bhutan and the Tibetan. And this is also known as the Siliguri corridor, because the Siliguri corridor is just 50 kilometers away from it. So you have to just remember about the Sikkim and the important information about Sikkim, which I told you. Now we can move to the next question. Senior Congress leader and the former governor of which state, Raghunandan Lal Bhatia, passed away? So this is just in news because there is a obituary. So if there is any obituary, you have to remember three things. One is the name of the state, the person who belongs to, and name of the person. Third is the field. So here is very simple. He was a very famous politician, because here is written like senior Congress leader and former governor. So guys, he was governor of not only one state, he was governor of two states. One is Kerala, second is Bihar. So answer of this question is both B and C. And you have to remember the name is Raghunandan Lal Bhatia or RL Bhatia. You can see the picture of RL Bhatia, who recently passed away. He was the former governor of Kerala and Bihar. He was the governor of Kerala between 2004 to 2008. 2004 to 2008, and he was governor of Bihar from 2008 to 2009. It means just for 1 year. Earlier he served as the unit president and general secretary of the Congress party in Punjab. He was also known as the old horse of the Congress party, because he was an old person in the Congress team, so that's why he was known as the old horse of the Congress party. He was also elected as the member of parliament 6 times from Amritsar. 6 times from Amritsar. Amritsar is a spiritual place in Punjab and also the division of the Punjab. So you have to remember this. He served as the Minister of State for External Affairs in the P.V. Narasimha Rao government in 1992, because P.V. Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister at that time from 91 to 96. And he was then the Minister of State for External Affairs in 1992. So you have to remember this person name R.L. Bhatia, or you can say Raghunandan Lal Bhatia. Now we can move to next question. Which state announced Corona Mukt Pind Abhiyan to tackle COVID-19 spread in villages? So Pind means village, or in Punjabi it is known as Pind. And Corona Mukt Pind Abhiyan. So if I am talking about this word is in Punjabi in Pind, so answer of this question is Punjab, because Punjab is based on Punjabi. So guys, remember it is just to tackle the COVID-19 spread in villages, because now in villages COVID-19 is spreading so much fast, and to tackle this so many states are now starting a campaign so that we can tackle the COVID-19 in the villages. Now first state is the Punjab, now second is is Gujarat and other states are also doing this. So Captain Amrinder Singh, the Chief Minister, announced the Corona Mukt Pind Abhiyan to tackle COVID-19 spread in villages. And you can also see here, Gujarat CM Vijay Rupani also launched one campaign known as My Village Corona Free Village campaign. So this is a new kind of thing that we have to tackle this COVID-19 situation, especially in the villages, because if it spreads, then it will show some devastating effects in the villages. So we have to control now in the villages especially. So guys, remember this is Punjab and Gujarat. In Gujarat, this campaign is known as My Village Corona Free Village campaign, and in Punjab it is known as Corona Mukt Pind Abhiyan. Pind stands for villages. The health and the rural development departments were directed to spearhead the campaign with large scale mobilization of the community in the villages. And the main objective of the program is to establish health and wellness clinics to spread awareness about the COVID-19 among the village people. And the community health centers, panchayats, school teachers, anganwadis, asha workers, even village police officer, youth volunteers will engage on a large scale to guide the program. For testing COVID-19 in the rural areas, the health department was instructed to provide additional rapid antigen test kits so that maximum to maximum tests can be conducted. And they are also allowed to open COVID care centers with the support of the non-governmental organization in both the states like Gujarat and the Punjab. So you have to remember this. Now we can move to the next question. NABARD has launched India's first agriculture export facilitation center in which state? So it is NABARD who basically established one agriculture export facilitation center so that maximum to maximum agriculture export can be increased in which state? So guys, exact place is Pune and state is Maharashtra. So remember, exact city is Pune. If the examiner is asking about city, then it is Pune, and if examiner is asking about state, then it is Maharashtra. So remember, it is Pune, Maharashtra. And guys, you can also see here NABARD launched this India's first agriculture export facilitation center. Now this center was established with the help of MCCIA. It stands for Maratha Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture. You can see here Maratha Chamber of Commerce and Industries and Agriculture because it is a commerce industries chamber of Maharashtra state, and in partnership of the NABARD was launched India's first agriculture export facilitation center in Pune. And this center will help in boosting Maharashtra agriculture and food export and will help in meeting global standards. It will open to anyone who is involved in export of agriculture products. It means it is open to all so that maximum to maximum agriculture export can be increased and the income of farmers can also be increased. The center will provide expert guidance on the areas like management, minimum residue level, branding and marketing, special export treatments, country-wise protocols and government export schemes and the policies. So India is targeting in the agriculture export, the export of the agriculture is targeted at almost $60 billion by the year of 2022. This is the target of Indian government by the year of 2022. So guys, remember NABARD headquarters is in Mumbai. It was established in 1982 and its current chairman is GR Chintala. So now we can move to the next question. So here are the important question, guys. You have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel. You have to share this video as maximum as possible. Now the first question in the important section is India and which country renewed cultural exchange program until 2023? And this country is, guys, Mongolia. So guys, remember, answer is C. It means there was a virtual event between Indian Minister of State for Culture and Tourism, that is Prahlad Singh Patel ji, and Mongolia's Minister of Culture, and they renewed the cultural exchange program between the two countries till 2023. So you have to just remember, or you have to just read these two or three things. One is this is a cultural exchange program between India and Mongolia. Second, it is till 2023. And remember, this was signed during the Prime Minister Narendra Modi visit to Mongolia in year of 2015. So it was in 2015 that was signed by Narendra Modi ji. And you can see here cultural exchange program between India and Mongolia stands renewed until 2023. And you can see here the Union Minister of Culture and Tourism, Prahlad Singh Patel. And guys, you can also see here, this was during the Prime Minister Narendra Modi visit to Mongolia in May 2015 when it was signed firstly. And remember, it is only based on the Buddhism theme, because Buddhism will be the basis of the deep spiritual friendship between the two countries. And 10 dedicated Indian Council for Culture Relations scholarship for the studying Tibetan Buddhism to the allocated for Mongolians to study a specialized institute of Central Institute of Buddhist Studies in Leh, Ladakh. and the Center Institute of Higher Tibetan Institute in Varanasi. So these are the two institutes which are related to the Buddhism study. One is in the Leh and second in the Varanasi, and we will provide the scholarship to the students. And India affirmed its support for digitalization of Buddhism manuscripts in monasteries, and which is situated in the Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia. So the name of the monastery is Gandhan or the Gandhan Monastery, which is situated in the Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia. India will always be considered Mongolia's request to set up a museum cum library in the Gandhan Monastery. So guys, here you can see here is the Mongolia, and you can see above is the Russia and below is China. And you have to remember what is the capital of Mongolia. Mongolia's capital is Ulaanbaatar. I am writing here ULAANBAATAR. That is the Ulaanbaatar. And the currency is basically, you can say there are one currency, but it spells in the two form. One is known as Togrog, and second is Tugrik. So there is a or, so you can either spell it as Togrog or you can say it is Tugrik. So it is same. And guys, remember, India and Mongolia held the 7th meeting of joint committee recently in 2020. Now we can move to next point, and it is our one-liner important points. And here is the first point: renowned mathematician Padam Bhushan Professor M.S. Narasimhan passed away. So again, three things you have to remember. The name is M.S. Narasimha, or you can remember Mudumbai Narasimha. That is the full name. He passed away at the age of 88, and he belongs to which state? He belongs to Madras Presidency, or you can say the Tamil Nadu, because he was born in the Madras Presidency, then British India. And he was the only Indian to receive the King Faisal International Prize in Science. This is important. Only Indian to receive the King Faisal International Prize in Science. You have to remember, I will ask this question in the one-liner form. Next is the table tennis. ITTF partners with Stupa Sports Analytics to provide performance analytics. So guys, this is related to table tennis, and this is just to improve the performance of the players, and they will use the artificial intelligence through this Stupa Sports Analytics, an Indian startup company. So International Table Tennis Federation entered into a tie-up or the partnership with Stupa Sports Analytics, an Indian startup company, to provide artificial intelligence enabled real-time match and practice solutions to leading players in all the 226 member associations. So through the artificial intelligence, they will provide some technology, and they will improve the performance of the leading players of all the countries, all the member countries. And artificial intelligence will help in taking or table tennis to the next level by providing real-time in-depth analysis. And during COVID-19 pandemic, this International Table Tennis Federation collaborated with Stupa Analytics to provide online training sessions to the leading players. And guys, remember about International Table Tennis Federation. Its headquarters is in Lausanne, Switzerland. Next is cricket. England player Harry Gurney announces retirement, or Harry Gurney, if my pronunciation is not wrong. So you have to remember, Harry Gurney announces retirement. He was a fast bowler, but he represented England in so less matches. So you don't have to remember the name of the player because he was not so much famous. Next, Mokhtar Owen reappointed as the Prime Minister of Mali. So again, he was reappointed as the Prime Minister of Mali. Recently, he was resigned, but again, he was appointed as a Prime Minister of Mali. He will in charge of forming a new cabinet now. He was appointed as the Prime Minister of Mali in September 2020, following the military coup which overthrew President Ibrahim Keita in August 2020. So interim government of Mali was set to hold a constitutional referendum in the October 2021, followed by the election in February 2022. Until date, this person, Mokhtar Owen, will be appointed as the Prime Minister. So remember this. And Mali's president is Ba Nada. I am writing here so that you can spell it. Ba Nada is currently the president. Capital is Bamako. This is the capital of Mali. So remember, this currency is Western African CFA franc. Next is in April 2021, India's export rise to 30.63 billion. So much exports are rising now, and India is exporting so many things. And today we done one export things related to agriculture, and now India's export is increasing, but it is not a very good sign of India, because export is increasing. This is good, but trade deficit is also rising, because India's import is also rising. Like you can say imports in the oil, non-oil imports are also there, gold imports are there. So India's total trade deficit is also increasing. Next is National Dengue or the Dengue Day 2021 on the May 16. So guys, remember it is National Dengue Day and it was observed by the National Health Ministry, and it was observed every year on the May 16 across the country to create awareness about the measures on the dengue prevention and the control the spread of the vector-borne disease, and reform nationwide efforts to tackle the dengue using both education and the medical intervention. So guys, remember dengue is a viral disease which is transmitted by the infective bite of a specific mosquito which is known as Aedes aegypti. So I am writing here the spell so that you can remember the option Aedes, and aegypti stands for Aegypti, aegypti. So remember this, it is commonly spread during the rainy season and it is highly contagious through mosquito bites. So Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare is Dr. Harshvardhan and constituency is Chandni Chowk. Now we are moving to the question of the day. What was the question of 16th and 17th of May 2021? Question was, what should be the paid up capital of the bank to be scheduled commercial bank as per the RBI Act of 1934? Because you know RBI has a second schedule and the banks which comes under the second schedule are known as the scheduled commercial banks. Like scheduled cooperative banks are there, scheduled commercial banks are there. But you have to remember the total paid up capital is not 5 crore rupees, it is just 5 lakh rupees. So guys, remember answer of this question is C. And I discussed this question in the Lakshmi Vilas Bank series, like in the last series of the 15th of May 2021 series. We discussed this question when I discussed about the Lakshmi Vilas Bank. So in that question you can just basically read this line, like 5 lakh paid up capital should be there for the scheduled commercial banks. Now we can move to the question of the day. Question of the day is again very simple. Who was the chairman of the first Bank Board Bureau? So guys, this is most important question. You have to remember Bank Board Bureau. We will discuss about Bank Board Bureau, but you have to answer only in the comment box. I'm waiting your answer, guys. You have to provide us 700 plus likes and you have to subscribe this channel. If you're new on this platform, you have to press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. And guys, I'm requesting you to share this video as maximum as possible. And it is the Fairs Cloud promise that it will definitely boost your confidence in the general awareness section. If you're watching the videos daily and if you're reading the current affairs from the PDF, your section will go strong. And guys, you can subscribe our PDFs from the description box link, and a link is given for downloading the application. You can download the application from that link, and after downloading you have to log in with your email ID, and after login you can assess the current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the prices are very much low, and on that minimal price we are providing 10% extra discount, that is as 10. And guys, always remember, don't take life so much serious. Life is happiness, and if you are happy, then life is happy. If life is happy, then definitely you will succeed, because happiness is the key of success. Thank you guys, take care and bye bye.